Well, hello Leeds United fans. It is the post-press conference discussion. Daniel Farke has had his mutterings about the game on Sunday. Very, very interesting indeed. Why is it interesting? Well, there are a few bits that we learned from today. Now, make sure you check out the video from earlier on, everybody. And make sure you're checking out the Patreon. Make sure you're checking out the giveaways that we've got on the Patreon as well. That will be coming very, very soon. But what's been understood from Daniel Farke in the press conference? Well, there's a specific quote before the injury news and all this sort of stuff. I wanted to get into a specific quote of which Daniel Farke said. Now, he mentioned that decisions on the sideline won't influence the game. Now, for me, it's a very jarring comment. As I get away from the screaming children here, apologies. But it's a very jarring comment for me, him saying that, because decisions can definitely be influenced by what's been done on the touchline. We know the in-game management is something that is a little bit of a problem when it comes to it, when it comes to Daniel Farke, when it comes to the substitutions, when it comes to the minutes given to substitutions, the selection in general. So when he's talking about it not being influenced, then it was a quote, everybody, as well. It's a quote, him saying essentially that it's not to do with me. It's not my problem. It's not me who is at fault here. It is the lads on the pitch. Now, unfortunately, and I don't want to get into this too much, but where it spiked a little bit of nerves from myself is it was something that he was doing quite obviously for the when he left Norwich as well. It was absolving himself of a bit of criticism, and just that quote in particular stood by me a little bit, and I thought, I wonder why he's mentioning that now before a playoff semi-final, and he's saying things on the touchline won't influence the performance. Didn't like that whatsoever, and for me, it's a problem him saying that. Because it feels like an excuse has already been thrown into the pit before we've even started. And once again, if I'm a player and I'm hearing that quote in particular, and I promise you guys, I'm not just honing in on this specific quote because I want to get at Daniel Farke. As I've mentioned several times this season, he would be my manager next season, but you don't need to hear this as a player. I don't need to hear this as a fan. And unfortunately, from speaking to a hell of a lot of Norwich fans, it's the same message that would have been delivered before pressure games to those Norwich City fans, which is the problem for me. It's the absolution of anything Daniel Farke. It's to do with them lot on the pitch, and nothing will be changed by my decisions. Well, 100% it can be changed by your positions, different personnel, different strategic components, different tactical imprints. Now, what I will say is it's going to be very, very much tested this weekend. Why? Patrick Bamford, Mr. Dependable, Mr. Reliable, is out again for the entire playoffs, it seems. He's not going to be available for these two games at least. And I mean, last week he couldn't stretch his leg. He couldn't, move his leg in a normal function. So you're expecting that to be a huge problem. Once again, the most beneficial attribute for a striker and for any player is to be available. If you're available, that is the biggest thing for being a striker, because then you can contribute to goals, assists, or the lark. You can't do it because, once again, streaky Bamford when it comes to form, streaky Bamford when it comes to availability. So he's going to be out, a massive problem. And why is he a massive problem? Because it feels like right now he is our only number 9. The reasoning behind that is because the manager will not start your young, sort of in form this season striker who's there. He's not categorised in the picture for me right now because he doesn't start. So you're talking right now between two strikers, a number 9 and a number 9.5 to 10, Bamford or Perot. So you're looking at a scenario right now where Leeds are in a bit of, and Farke really is in a bit of trouble, and not by his own admission. He has the option, he has the player availability, the player calibre to be able to change it round. Will he do it? He's not going to do it. I will be absolutely stunned, if I'm honest with you guys, absolutely stunned if he was to start Matteo Joseph in this game. It won't happen. And as I've mentioned earlier on today, because he's not involved Charlie Cresswell throughout the season, you can't throw Charlie in cold. So it's either going to be Liam Cooper, so we can see our best midfielder in midfield, and Ethan Ampadu, But the likelihood is it's going to be Elia, it's going to be Glenn, it's going to be Archie at right back. Con Roberts probably won't start at right back because that feels like it'd be too much change for Daniel. And if it works, fantastic, 100%. But it's got to work, and that's why he's paid the big money. That's why he's paid the big bucks to get these things right. I'm a pundit, I'm a fan, I own a YouTube channel. I'm not paid the big bucks to get Daniel Farke's decisions right. As I mentioned earlier on, what I can do is offer solutions from my perspective. He has to start Joseph for me. And I know a lot of you guys will say Perot, but there's no validation for Perot starting in a number 9. I can tell you how Joel Perot will perform in a number 9 position for 90 minutes or 180 minutes. I can tell you that. I can't tell you the upside of what we're going to get from Matteo Joseph, but I'd be willing to try it 100%. Pat's going to be missing for this one. There is a potential availability for Dan James, which is massive. It's going to be great to see Dan James back in the picture when it comes to a little bit of pace, when it comes to a little bit of impact off the bench. If Nonto's not at that level, then we can rotate. And what you can guarantee with Dan James is it might not always be footballing ability, but it is effort, it is endeavour, it is energy. You know, you're not going to get Dan James like a lot of those Leeds players did the other day against Southampton, and a lot of those Leeds players the other week, I should say, did against QPR, just hiding and not looking like they're bothered about the fight whatsoever. So my call to Daniel Farke is to make risk, it's to make change, it's to do things a little bit different. We've got nothing to lose. Norwich are going into this without any real pressure. It'd be great to see Leeds to go into this game with just a little bit of, shoulders back, a little bit relaxed, but to embrace the pressure as well. And I think Matteo Joseph is the guy who embraces that pressure. He loves it. He loves the pressure aspect. He is, I look at him and Archie and I think strong mentalities. I think elite mentalities. And I don't think Matteo Joseph will be at Leeds for long, if I'm honest with you guys. And the reason behind that is because I don't think he's going to get... I think in the summer he'll be turning around and saying, I want minutes. And I think he'll go to a decent club, and it could potentially be a Leif Davis situation. Although the Leif Davis situation... context applied was very different. It was under Bielsa, so he wasn't getting that many minutes. But Joseph is of a very similar mould in the fact that he's a good player and he's not getting picked at this moment in time. So it's very, very difficult right now. I would love to see Robert start. I'd love to see Joseph start up front. I'd love to see Ampadu in midfield and Cresswell at the back, but it's not going to happen. Do you put Cooper in at centre-back, or is that too much of a risk? But we need to see Ampadu back in that midfield. And overall, everybody... I think just that quote is going to stay with me, and I don't know why he's made it. And I don't know the exact quote, but I'm going to paraphrase around it. You can find it on Leeds Live, the YEP. It is there. It's 100% there. The game isn't going to be influenced by what happens on the touchline. Absolving of all criticism, which is a worrying trait because it's definitely impacted by what you do on the sideline, my friend. If a game's not working, change it. If a game is working and you need to rest players, change it. System-wise, change it. Of course, things are impacted. Interesting. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. See you in a bit.